Morning. We're here, I think.
May or may not be. Have to finish the cup of coffee.
Right. My body's here. I'm not sure where my mind is right now, but my body's here. So.
Kind of outside in the cool breeze because it's really nice outside. Which is, Mike, is it really June? Because it feels like a fall day out there. Let's see. Oh, hello, Vangela. Vangela was already there waiting for us and has a very good question. Says, my 29-year-old stepson recently passed due to a car accident. I'm so sorry to hear that. Funeral is in a couple of weeks. I want to make sure he crosses into the light. What can I say to help him? Thank you.
Well, hopefully there is a grandma, a grandpa, somebody that he knows that died, that has already died, that he will see in the light and want to go to them, or a relative that can talk him in. 29 is an odd age as far as he still thinks he's young enough, and he probably doesn't want, who wants to be dead at 29? And to go into the light, that may be something. Now, you didn't say, is he married? Does he have children? Is there a reason for him to stay? Would he be concerned about a child or a wife or a pregnant wife or something like that? But just, I would have no way of knowing. And you really won't either until you actually have a dream of him. But the first dream is hardly ever before 6 months. So again, sorry for the loss, but that's a tricky place to be. It really is.
It's so sad.
I know.
We have Brooke with us again. Hello, Brooke. Oh, and our friend, we were even looking for you last week. We were like, where is she and where's Lewis? Hopefully Lewis pops in.
We were worried about both of you. Right.
Right. Hello, Melanie, Sink, Robin. We got a lot of people. Oh, thank you. Hair clip just didn't get going. So for any of our new people, because I also have an extra camera going right now for Instagram, so multitasking, double-handing it. Anybody who is new and joining us, be it on Instagram or over on our YouTube, Maryann is live and answering questions about earthbound spirits, negative energy, portals, fairies, Mercury retrograde, law of abundance check, all the things.
It's over. Today's the last day for the Mercury retrograde. It's over.
I know. So feel free to ask questions. Maryann's going to answer you live. So fun times. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Westy says, hi, as I ponder all things, I wonder if there are more earthbound spirits in Las Vegas and Monaco where all of the energy, anxiety, joy exists. That's a pretty good question. There's a lot of people there too, just walking around.
Yeah, in any place where there's a crowd, there are going to be more earthbound spirits. And it's interesting because the earthbound spirits I see at casinos, which if I go to one every 5 years, and I stay on the outskirts, because the people that are earthbound inside of the casinos, they're pushing, go ahead, do it a little bit more, put another one in, you can go higher. They were addicts to that or huge fans of that when they were alive, and they're still hanging out. And some of them look like they were in pretty bad shape. I don't know, maybe they lost the car, the house, but that's a bad thing to get caught up in. It's like at horse tracks, when there's a race going on, the earthbound spirits hanging on the fence watching the horses go around. Now, obviously, they're still not betting on them anymore. They're dead, but they're still standing there watching them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, the old ladies in grocery stores carrying their purses are not going to be the same people you see hanging out in a casino or Monaco or someplace like that.
Similar personality is, past is alive before crossing over. So
they're going to do the same things they did when they were alive, what they liked or what they were used to. Exactly.
All right. Oh, we have good morning from Robin and Patricia. Poodle Pants. It's always a fun name. Let's see. Another question. I remember Maryann mentioned that there is a procedure described in her book about removing negative energy and curses. Is that information also available on the website?
It is not. But you can go to the library and get the book, which is When Ghosts Speak, and you don't even have to buy it. It's on audio. There's all kinds of used copies on what is that place where everybody sells everything?
eBay.
eBay. Thank you. And so you can find a copy, but it's the last chapter in this book. And you could obviously, it's so easy to do. You could do it.
All right. Our friend Sandy is joining us, and Sam, who's also one of our local friends. Melody. We do have a question from Instagram. Says, what is some advice about trusting your abilities?
I think you go with your gut instincts and learn as much as you can. Pick one thing you're interested in. A lot of people like tarot or the runes, or they like the cards. You know what? You're not going to be good at everything. So pick one of them that you like the best, and that's the one you want to learn about. And seriously, if it doesn't feel right, stop. I mean, trust yourself. That's the most important thing. And it never hurts to take classes in something that you're interested in. Melissa's got classes at the store all the time. And even some of them can be done on Zoom now, no?
Yeah, some of them we are doing with Zoom because we've had a lot of people with COVID kind of searching around and they're out of state.
So just trust yourself and try it out and see what feels comfortable to you.
Okay, so another question is, ladies, I was wondering if a poltergeist is really a portal or just a super energetic earthbound spirit or something else. Can you please explain?
Right. A portal is not a person. A portal is an opening that allows earthbound spirits to come in and out of a property. So, and a poltergeist is a name that they had given to an annoying spirit, a spirit that does damage or bounces off the walls or chases your dog around or something like this. That's a poltergeist, which that became so popular in the movies with the Amityville Horror, that movie, and what's the one that had the little lady in it? Poltergeist. Duh.
The voice behind the camera head.
Is it Monday? I do this on Monday. But it's just a name. You know, ghosts, spirits, ghosts, lemures. There's all kinds of names for ghosts. They all refer to the same thing, just a bunch of different names.
And all of our fears.
Oh my gosh, yes. She's back.
Everybody noticed you and she was gone. We were all looking for you two last week.
Could have given us a head up. Would you have the flu or something? You could have let us know what was going on.
Right. Like we were going to send search parties out.
Yeah, we were worried about you.
Let's see. Good morning with Natalie, Denise, Tina, and I saw Lisa in there. Hello, Lisa. There's so many coming in and keeping an eye on two cameras here. Oh, the questions about the Insta handles. Goddess Elite, all one word. And Maryann, what is yours? Your Instagram? I know you have one. Ted made you one.
Ted, what's our Instagram? Maryann Winkowski.
There we go.
That's it. Okay.
And Payton's one of my old Borders employees, and we do offer classes including tarot and Lenormand, and actually we've got some starting in July, so check on the website. Let's see. Oh, there's Lisa. So let's see. Any questions? Feel free to ask questions. Going to answer you live. When are we going to Savannah, Georgia, Maryann?
Jeez, oh man. It's still up in the air. Don't have a clue yet.
I mean, this whole paranormal bus trip is apparently going to have to become a thing at some point.
Some point.
We're still, you know what, guys, give us suggestions. We need names for the podcast.
Yeah, we do. And M&M is cute, but we'll probably get in trouble from Hershey or whoever owns M&Ms if we try to use
Corporation. We will get a cease and desist so fast.
Yeah, like I did when I used the Ghostbuster theme on my voicemail. I got in big trouble for that. So try to come up with the name. I don't know. I just can't. The things I've come up with, I would like ghost in the title so that it pops up when somebody's looking for it. But everybody that has no. There's too many people that use the word paranormal in their podcast, so I do not want that. Let's put it that way.
Paranormal and ghost is in all of them, so we would be lost.
All of them. So we need to figure out something else, right?
Yes, and then Lewis is going to design our touring outfits for us.
Oh, there you go.
Offered.
I don't know. I don't even think, in all honesty, we would have to rent such a huge camper or travel bus or something with all of our equipment and our stores. It would be a project.
Well, if we only went weekend to weekend and if we were flying, all of my laptop, phone, and everything fits in one book bag. Now, if I know I can pack down pretty quick because I am not the lady that needs 8 suitcases. I rather run and go. I am not. The amount of my makeup, guys, eyebrows, mascara, that's it.
When we went to Hawaii, I had 2 suitcases just with shoes. And we're in Hawaii. I suppose flip-flops and a pair of sandals would have been fine, but no, not for me.
I want to get and go. Like, I don't want to be hung up. And apparently I'm on every TSA list because I carry rocks in my bags. When you wrap them in blue paper towels from Walmart and the automotive, it looks like explosives. So now I get stopped all the time and they got to look and fondle all my rocks. So I try to go.
It would be worth it for you to pay to have that extra thing that you could just go through TSA and they don't check anything.
Probably. Yeah.
Worth it.
All right. So we're rambling. Robin says, if a dog is staring at the ceiling, what are they watching? If they bark at it or if they run and hide, is it friendly? Do earthbound spirits hang out at the ceiling?
Usually, the ones that have crossed over are at the ceiling. The earthbound ones are usually eye level. Usually. That doesn't mean they can't go up or they can't come down. Now, ask yourself this. If it's at the ceiling, would it or could it be a relative or a friend that has died that your dog didn't know? Therefore, it would be a stranger and the dog would bark. Or did you, I hope not, have a relative that didn't like dogs? And yes, they crossed over, but they still think it's funny to make the dog bark. So it could be one or the other, but normally when they're looking up, it's somebody that crossed over.
So Denise says, I have to just share. I did the law of abundance and ended up winning bingo 3 times in a row at family functions. Such a believer now.
Great. Try the lottery next time.
I so need to start playing. Does sea salt work as good as a quince seed, like when you're going to the doctor's visit or for something important?
No, it does not. The quince seed works the best. sea salt, blessed sea salt. That does work. It helps. People that do not want to carry a seed on them to work, I've said get sea salt water, put it in a misting bottle, shake it up, spray the doorway, walk through it so you get some on you. It will help, but it's not 100% like the quincy. No.
Okay. A few suggestions here. Sandra had said Earthbounds and Beyond with Maryann and Melissa. I'm sure not Melissa. Ghost Angels, Ghost Chatter, The Ghost Hunt. And then there was the recommendation of just using the title of When Ghosts Speak, which I don't know if you own the copyrights to the title or if the publishing company does.
My title.
Okay. Oh, hi, Vicky from Mentor. I love your kitty cat picture. Oh, and Lewis. Lewis says, can we please touch on vampires as a subject that has been intriguing me lately?
I don't know a lot about them, but I still will say the same thing like I do about trolls and vampires and werewolves and all of that. I think that there is some truth to all of that. And a lot of doctors and psychiatrists, I mean, there are people that claim they are vampires living among us that do drink blood, but they are not the vampire from the movies. I think, like I said, I think they definitely exist. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with the clove of garlic. Yeah, I think there might be something to it. And I don't want to lump them in with fairies and sprites and that type of thing because just the size difference from an adult to a little thing. But it would still be in that group. And I listened to you, Melissa, and I thought about it. So why don't we do fairies 2 weeks from today? I'm giving you a date.
Put that on the calendar. You heard it, guys, 2 weeks from today.
For 2 weeks from today, we'll do fairies and what have you. I have decided that the story about the aliens and how it affected our foster child, that is a little, that's, we had that child for almost 2 years. So, and there was probably something every day that happened that I knew that she was alien. I think what I'm going to do is next week on the YouTube at 5:30, I'm going to tell that story. That's what I'm going to talk about. We're never going to be able to discuss it on this format very much because there's too much the child did that was so bizarre. So I think it's going to be on YouTube next. I got a murder case today at 5:30. But next Wednesday, I'm going to talk about aliens that way. If you listen to that, then in the next couple of these, you'll have questions, which you won't have if you don't know the whole story first. So that's why I'm going to do it that way.
Yay. We got you committed to some dates here.
I know.
Okay, so Judy says, one of my cats can be heard many nights sounding like she is talking to someone only after the lights are turned off. They are sounds we only hear then, not howls. Soft sounds like communicating.
You know what? All animals can communicate with each other, obviously, but over the years, I've had pets where I can look at them and don't tell me that they don't know exactly what I'm thinking. And I'm going to guess that you're having a visit from somebody that crossed over. You know how your cats will sit by a patio door or window and make little chirpy bird noises? Mm-hmm. Well, this would be similar to the cat talking to somebody that the cat knows. So this is probably a relative or somebody that has died that the cat knows. Or could it be another pet of yours that died that is still hanging out?
Good question. Oh, and our friend Irish from Instagram says she can't wait for that show to come on. So that'll be fun. Sink asks, can I use dream bags over my doors instead of charms? She's got 7 doors coming into that little house.
You can, and in all honesty, there is a quince seed in each dream bag. So if push came to shove, if you ordered the dream bags, you could take the seed out of the bag and not put the whole little bag above each door. And the mugwort would still work if you used it under your pillow. The seed was just an extra protection that I put in there so that if you have earthbound spirits while you're sleeping, they sort of stay away from you. But yes, you can do that.
So hello, Sharon, joining us on Facebook. And Lewis might be able to join us on Zoom in late August, early September. So fun.
Yeah. Good.
So a question we have from Instagram, Angie asks, I talk in my sleep. I also respond if someone talks to me while I'm sleeping. Is that spirit speaking through me as a channel? How can I protect my energy?
No, that is not a channel doing that. That's you talking in your sleep and answering in your sleep. So no, one of our daughters, our oldest daughter, talked in her sleep a lot. And you'd be surprised what kind of answers you got if you asked her questions when she was doing that.
I have an ex-husband who did that, and that was pretty hilarious at times.
Yeah, it's like, and I remember the one morning she came downstairs and I said something to her and she looked at me, she goes, how did you know that? Like, I'm mom. Yeah, right, I'm mom.
We parents have our ways.
Right.
Question from Malcolm says, good morning, ladies. Malcolm here. If grandpa or grandma pass away in the house with the seeds, are they stuck?
They are not. The only way that they are stuck, when a person first dies, they have the white light around them. They are not officially stuck. And as long as they have the white light on them, anybody that has the seeds on their house, that does not stop them because they still have their white light. Now, if they come in the house and lose the light, if they've been, the funeral's over, but they still in that 48 to 72 hour period, and they lose the light in your house, then yes, they are stuck in your house. And I had some mother-in-laws do that on purpose. When they died, they did not cross over, and they went to the house of their son or daughter because they didn't like who their son or daughter married, and they lost their light in the house, so they could still be a problem. But no, normally, as long as they have the light, they are not officially stuck.
That's just, I wouldn't even thought to do that.
Oh, some people are so cagey.
I mean, if I got stuck in my son's house, I'm going to be doing stuff like throwing the dirty laundry around, like it goes in the basket. Put your dishes in the sink.
Right. That's exactly right. But some of these mother-in-laws, not the father-in-laws. It's always the mother-in-law that sticks around. But turning on stove, somebody's got a turkey in the oven and she goes and turns the oven off, and the turkey, and you don't realize that you put a turkey in the oven for hours. You don't check it that often, and all of a sudden it's not cooking. Or they leave they go open the freezer door on purpose. So everything, I mean, they can be nasty. They can really be nasty.
So Payton asks, what are your thoughts on spirit boxes?
I don't know what that is.
So supposedly there are ways and techniques to take a troublesome spirit, sometimes demon, insert random spiritual entity, and trap them in a box. And there's videos of people who buy them online and then open them, and then all of a sudden you got stuff falling off of the walls behind them, things being knocked over.
You can buy a ghost in a box. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. I don't know if eBay's finally cracked down on a lot of this, but you could buy haunted dolls, haunted items, ghost in box, Dybbuk boxes. And then there's also the spirit box. And I wonder if she's also meaning where you take the radio and you modify the radio and it scans the frequencies, and it's a jumbling of words. And supposedly when you ask a question, you'll hear answers in that jumble. That may be more what she's thinking of.
Yeah, no. That would seriously, that would make me crazy if I had to see a ghost in a box. And how do they fit? I mean, if I die and I don't cross over, this is the same size I'm going to be in somebody's house. How do you fit in a box? Or like,
I mean, you can lose weight, right? We can lose weight.
Yeah, a whole lot of weight. It's like long fingernails, dead. The psychic.
Sylvia Browne,
thank you. When she would be on TV and somebody would say about going to the light, she'd say, light a candle and tell the ghost to jump in the flame. That is never going to work. Never.
Because I would want to jump into a flame.
No, exactly. So this is fascinating to me that people come up with this stuff. I was fascinated by that thing that looked like a vacuum cleaner that people were sucking ghosts up with that. It's like, really? I think these people all watch the Ghostbuster movies too much.
I have not ran across that yet. I'm kind of curious now. There'll be some late night Googling maybe. Hazel asks, is it possible to focus on mediumship skills over psychic abilities, or is mediumship like advanced psychic abilities? I find it easier and more fulfilling to read spirit than to read for the living.
I guess you would have to. I don't know. Melissa, you would know better. I'm not a psychic. I don't have that much information on it.
I mean, you can. Psychic has a lot of things underneath of it. Mediumship is one. Precognition is knowing the future. You can focus on mediumship. There are people in the industry who might say, make sure when you're reading mediumship, those that have crossed over, that they have crossed over, and at what points, like, are they the highest of that person, that you're going to be communicating with? So it can get a little tedious, but once you start practicing and knowing the difference, then you can pull that message over. But in some places, they would consider mediumship a form of psychic ability. So it's kind of like a big umbrella. Like metaphysical is a huge umbrella. So many things encapsulated in there. So in a way, Maryann, I think that's why there's so much confusion when people think that they can schedule readings with you, because it would fall under that psychic ability. So
right. I could give you all kinds of information from whatever the ghost standing behind you tells me. It's not coming in my own brain. It's coming to me from somebody telling me what's going on.
Right. Oh, and Mary Jo said, thank you for helping with the on the Zoom. She was with us on Zoom. Let's see. Yep. Another vote for When Ghosts Speak as the title of the podcast. Ooh, they're jumped. So anybody that's watching on Instagram, you get to see what I have to scroll through and read everybody's messages. So that's why sometimes I pause a minute when I'm looking to find questions. In the meantime, again, we have new people joining us on Instagram. Ask questions in the comment section, and we're going to answer you live about earthbounds, negative energy, portals. Let's see. Brittany asks, have you witnessed anyone else other than your daughter make the white light?
Well, I'm sure people could do that. People on Zoom the last time were saying that they use the white light all the time. You can teach yourself to do that. Anybody can do that. And, just picture positive energy. You are doing it if somebody says to you, I'm having surgery tomorrow. Say a prayer for me. It's positive energy that you are sending to that person, and you can send it that way, or you can send it in the form of a white light.
So Lewis says, for a title suggestion, what about skinny stylish spirits with two skinny stylish humans? That's hard to say.
Oh yeah, no.
Not as skinny as I look.
You want to make sure that we're honest. That wouldn't be honest, at least on this half of the screen.
It's Lewis on Instagram when we were talking about the candle flame. It says, "Oh my God, imagine nosediving into the fireplace just to cross over."
Yeah, how ridiculous!
So, and the same person's asking, I don't know if you identify as psychic or medium, but what would you define your psychic ability?
I don't have psychic ability. That's not what I have. Pardon?
It's that umbrella of psychic. So, but
right. But that is not one of my, no. I know a little bit about tarot cards. I know a little astrology. I know numerology a little bit. I know how to play with the runes. I can lay out a deck of tarot cards. I can lay out a regular deck of cards and tell you something. But that's not what I'm good at. And that's not what I do. And I don't do it for anyone. So, no, I am not a psychic.
I figured that was you, Lewis, on Instagram, too. I like the comments there.
That on there, too?
Yeah. We got Lewis in two places. So we had Bill Lewis last week, double Lewis.
Now two places. Great.
He's making up for lost time. Danielle says, my friend lives in an apartment, and sometimes at night while he is in bed, he hears whispers in his ear, like warnings that something bad is going to happen. Then he will look over and see a dark figure in the bathroom door of his room. If I sage and make him sea salt spray, will that keep the spirits out of his apartment?
Yes, but you can't do it just once. Smudging or saging, however you want to call it, only lasts for about 11 to 12 days, 14 days at the most. So if he's got somebody coming in on something regular like that, then I would at least smudge every 2 weeks. And that would for sure keep anybody that lives in any kind of a place that's a condo, an apartment where there's a lot of families living under a common roof. You should all do that just to keep out the apartment ghosts that are running amok in the whole building.
Oh, so show name, The Spectre Show or The Spectre Spots. And Sink's daughter suggests dead men still tell tales.
That's cute.
So there's been a couple questions about the quinseeds coming from Italy. The other question is where to get them in Italy. So maybe you want to address both in one answer.
To my knowledge, my relatives in Italy only send them to me. I do not believe they only send them to my grandmother. They've got the quince bushes. A quince is not even a tree, it's a bush. And they sell the quince fruit like an orchard that, they sell the fruit, but the seeds that they do the energy work on, no. And I don't even know if you know where the little town of Cartamonica is in Italy, but that's where this is at. And so, no, you can't. I mean, you can go down to the grocery store, the West Side Market, or one of the markets in the fall when pears and apples and, that come out, and buy a quince there and take the seeds out. But they don't have the energy work done that the ones that I get from Italy have.
So they really need to contact you and get the jewelry and stuff from you.
Right.
So everybody on Instagram, thanks for joining us. I got to end that because my battery is dying. So join us over on YouTube. Let's see here. And my arm's getting tired holding the phone up and trying to keep it still. That was a last minute, let's do this. Let's see. We got a couple new people. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Oh, there was a question about the whole aliens and spill the tea. So, but they need to listen to that radio show coming up to get started.
Yeah, like I said, that'll be next week, Wednesday. I'll be talking about that that happened. So that'll be aliens, and it's bizarre. So
Hello, Christina. And Payton says the ghostesses with the mostess. That one's kind of cute too. Now, keep in mind, guys, I have to have artwork designed for some of these. So
right.
I'm going to try and bribe JD of Infinite Creations with some Red Robin and some money. He designed the goddess logo we have, and that was about 3 or 4 rounds of Red Robin and hard apple cider. So has artwork. Mary Jo says, how can I help my grandson when he sees spirits? I mean, what do I say or ask to a 3-year-old who is seeing them? I believe he's seeing them since last year because he reacted in front of me 3 times as if they were in his face.
Mary Jo, he's the perfect age for that. This is where I say kids' imaginary friends are not imaginary. They are speaking to somebody. Your job, any mom or dad's job with a child that can do this, is when they talk, listen. Do not tell them they are not seeing what they're seeing. Do not tell them that they are not hearing anybody in the closet. Do not tell them that there is nobody under the bed. Listen to them. And the hardest thing to not do is when every time you see them, don't go, so is there anybody around here now? Who do you see? What's their name? How old are they? Did they come to the store with us? Do not do that. Just answer the questions and be, okay, honey, I'm sure you can see him, but I can't. But I believe you. You know, what's he, you know, what does he want you to do? This type of thing. And keep this in mind, kids. Also, if they were brats when they were alive, they're going to be dead, bratty ghost. If they were a bully, they're still going to be a bully dead kid. So you have to keep an eye on who your kids are talking to because it's important. But like I said, don't just listen and don't tell them that they're wrong and that nobody's going to laugh at them. You're not, you know, I know you're a big boy, but I believe you. So that's the important thing.
So Patrick has a pretty interesting question. How do ghosts transport themselves? Can they literally go anywhere on the earth in an instant? Can they transport to other planets or other galaxies? That last part's really interesting to me.
Yeah. Yes. Pure energy. They can go from here to California in the blink of an eye. So yes, absolutely. I do not know if they go to other planets or other galaxies. I know that when Ted, my husband, astroplanes, he goes to other planets. And I think he's been in other galaxies too, which that wouldn't be for me. But so if he can do it as astroplaning, I would imagine an earthbound spirit could do it too. But keep this in mind. They pretty much do the same things that they did when they were alive. And they didn't jump in a spaceship and go to some planet when they were alive. And they're probably not going to do it when they're dead.
Well, and I wonder, do they get energy off of aliens the same way they get off humans? So if they go to a planet.
If it's a living, breathing being, I'm going to say yes. Because they can even get energy off of a large dog or horses or cows, big farm animals. Energy is energy. I mean, a ghost isn't going to get anything off of a 5-pound Yorkie as it would a 150-pound Great Dane. But the energy is still there. So they can get the energy.
New fiction suggestion, secret ghost army. It's our secret rep, and we send all the dead people over to our enemies to drain all their soldiers. They can't fight very well if they're all tired.
Well, and that was one of the hardest things I had to do when all of those soldiers, the Marines, got killed out of that place, out of that VF, their VFW here somewhere in Brook Park. A lot of them, the funerals I went to, they said, no, I'm going back to help my buddies. And it's like, yeah, if you would go over and sit in the enemy's camp, you would be helping them, but not just going over. All you're going to do is hurt your buddies. So you could help them more if you go to the light.
And we don't need to tell that very sad story again.
No, we do not.
Eyeliner on today. We're going to leave that one alone.
No, we're not.
So Kate asks, with Mercury in retrograde leaving us soon, will there be a turnaround in business? My company is not doing well like many other companies. These last couple months have been very scary.
Well, Kate, the Mercury retrograde only lasts for about 3.5 weeks. So a lot of businesses are having horrible times right now because of the COVID more than Mercury retrograde. Now, if you have a company that specializes in communications, oh yeah, you had nothing but headaches for the last 3.5 weeks. And it is over today. So it's over. And I don't think we have the next one, I don't think is till the end of August. So, you got time, but no, people will see a difference if they've had, my daughter was here visiting this week from California, and Mercury retrograde took her 40 hours to get home from here to California because of problems with the planes, communications. So
there is a book by Simone Milasas. It is French, called The Joy of Business. It's a book that I use a lot. It is access conscious based in a way. You don't need to join access. Actually, I recommend you don't. But the tips and techniques in the book have, I can't complain with it. It's kind of redirecting energy. And a couple of them is like, you do things like when you pay out your bills, you ask, how does this come back ×3? When you're checking your numbers, how does it get better than this? And what else is possible? And then not getting in your own way. So if you say what else is possible, and I caught myself, people would come in and be like, hey, I'm a local artist. And I would immediately be like, nope, I'm busy. You walked in, you didn't make an appointment. And I'm like, oh shit, I just asked what else is possible like an hour ago. And here comes somebody. And I'm like, okay, what do you have?
There you go. That's right.
But it's a pretty good book. It's a thinner book, but it's one that I'll go back to and read again. And then she's got these energy clearing statements that you can read, or if you get the audio, she reads them out. And it's going to sound like jumble, and it is to be jumble, because she'll say like, what is something holding you back? And you immediately think of it. And then she reads this clearing statement and it makes you stop and go, what? So it blocks that immediate energy and thought pattern that would be blocking. So if you have a business, it's definitely worth looking into. I keep them in the store, but I don't think I have it on the website. Let's see. There was another question about, can you clear negative energy? From a place that you rent but may not own without the owner's consent. Melanie asked, how can I clear negative energy from a trust fund of whom the owner is still living, or other important documents that feel very negative?
Okay. You are paying rent for that space. Yes, you can definitely clear the space you are paying rent for. It's like when kids are in college. They can clear and put seeds up in their dorm room because the parents are paying for that dorm room for them to be there during school. Can they go and clean the whole building? No, because you're only paying for that space. You can clear documents, like I cleared one of the Major League Baseball teams. I didn't have to see the team. I just had to hold the papers that said the team was an organization. So if you have papers, official papers with all that information on, that paper can be cleared and in turn clear the negative energy off the project that you're thinking about. But yeah, and you don't need the homeowner's permission to clean your space. Now, when I cleaned the baseball team, I had to get the paperwork from the manager, the vice president of the organization, but they were in a secure office space in a vault or something. So nobody that's just a regular person is going to be able to get them. So yeah, but you can definitely do that.
Let's see. Hi, Mike. Michelle says, my sister passed away of lung cancer at 51. Shortly after her wake, I found an angel charm in the bathtub that said joy. A month ago, while cleaning her house, halfway under her rug was another that says hope. She died in December. Is she trying to tell me something? Also, my brother passed away at 28 in a motorcycle accident. Could that be him? Thank you, and looking forward to July's Zoom.
Obviously, we will get more information in the Zoom. A good thing to know is anybody that dies of a long lingering illness, and cancer is right there, they are tired. They are ready to go. It's not like a surprise. They know they're dying. And not that you want them to be dead, but you want them to finally have peace. So very, very rarely do those people stick around. They usually cross over. The 28-year-old, though, on a motorcycle, that's a whole nother story. And start watching for him in a dream, or let's see if he shows up at the Zoom in July.
That would be really cool for them to show up. And like we have that one friend who hopefully when they come from New York to the merry-go-round museum, like his ghost follows him. That would be
the gal that's coming from Minnesota is hoping that her father comes with her, because he's always, well, not always, but he's been on the Zoom with her. And so, yeah, definitely. I'm hoping. I don't know. And if it's who I think from Washington State also that's coming in, she had one that she kept out of her house with the smudging and the seeds, but that didn't stop. That ghost is still hanging out in another part of the property. So maybe that ghost will come with her also. You know, you don't know.
Okay, so Payton, here we go. She had the question about the ghost box, and she was talking about that radio scrolling one. And she says she doesn't trust them. Now, the few times that I have seen them in use, all those things ever spit out were curse words. So I'm not a big fan, but other people swear they get really good evidence and things.
Like, I don't hear anything when people make me listen to something on a tape recorder that they taped. I'm from the 60s. If you played the Beatles record backward, Abbey Road backward on your record player, it sounded like somebody was talking through that too. Really? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just, you know what? It's too easy for me to look at them and just talk to them. If I don't have to use anything, I'm not going to.
Right. Oh, Sandy, my story about wrapping the rocks in blue shop towel. She's like, whose idea was it? Suggest Sandy. She went with me to Florida, and she's like, well, use these, and stopped. Let's see. Have you ever known a ghost to steal a wallet? They are blaming their cowboy ghosts for everything.
Yeah, they can steal keys, remotes, jewelry, paperwork, anything. But yes, they can definitely. And I wouldn't say, I don't know if I'd use the word steal. Of course, some of them do throw stuff in the garbage. But a lot of times you will find it nowhere where it should be. I mean, a lady opened up, she had been looking, she was going to a wedding, and she knew she had a pair of high-heeled sandals, and she looked for them, and she thought, geez, I hadn't worn them for years. I must have threw them out. The next morning, she opened up her refrigerator, and they were there sitting inside a refrigerator. She couldn't find them, let alone put them in her refrigerator.
Well, and I blame the fairies for everything, and I'm usually mumbling fucking fairies under my breath all the time. And yesterday was a day. And Nikki here, she's like, we need to ask Maryann if there's any in the house, because there's just been random shit just going missing. And I'm like, well, I know we don't have ghosts, but
no, I don't hear any high pitched energy, so I think I think you're okay. I think anyway. Right. No, I think you're good.
Maybe having like that TV show or the Discovery of Witches, where the house is alive and it moves.
Right.
And I'm like, knock it off.
Yeah, I know houses can be on cursed property. A house, the structure can be cursed, but I think the day I see walls dancing is the day I quit.
Oh, so hey, so Lewis says fashion fae and everything else in between.
Too much on the fairy part. No.
And somebody suggested that Lewis start his own podcast, and he said, I think I will, and he's going to invite us on. We need to invite Lewis on ours. And Lewis, seriously, if you want to, contact me, because I have hosting capability. So let's see. Oh, because that wallet that went missing had $800 in there.
Yeah, somebody's playing with you, and the cowboy could have done it. And unfortunately, have you been smudging? Have you been doing anything I asked you to do? Has it helped? When did the wallet go? You know, and with the full moon tomorrow, and again, and heavens to Betsy, it's the last super moon of the year. So that's a good thing. So, you know, but moving a wallet, that wouldn't be that big of a, that wouldn't be that hard of a thing for them to do.
Oh, so another title suggestion, Spirit Chat with Maryann and Melissa. Let's see. Melody says, hi, Maryann. I've sent 3 messages on YouTube. Not sure if they are getting through. This is Melanie from Brunswick. Last week, I asked about your availability for my grandmother's funeral. It's Friday in Parma. Left you 2 messages on your voicemail. So hopefully those came through. I know sometimes your voicemail, if there's spirits around, it can get wonky.
Yeah, that if on your side, it could be bad. But, and if it's this Friday, no, I do not have availability this Friday. So if that's what, now, depending on what time it is, I could possibly talk to you on your cell phone from the funeral parlor, but be there, no, I could not be there.
Oh, so somebody wants to know what could be going on at Skinwalker Ranch? Is it aliens? There's so many theories. I don't know if you've heard of Skinwalker Ranch. It is out west. It's a big working ranch, and they have a lot of lights, paranormal, but also things that, like, pretty aggressive things that will happen in the house and right outside the house on the property. Talks of skinwalkers and Native American entities out there. So if and when we decide to start touring, that might definitely be a place.
I will tell you this. Bigger states, by bigger states, I mean not heavily populated states, Wyoming, Utah, those states. Aliens run amok in those places. But also, you've got to take into consideration that a lot of Native American Indians do not cross over when they die because it's their job to protect Mother Earth. So I don't know without a phone call from that area of what for sure it could be, but it could be a combination of all kinds of things. When I was on the one res in New Mexico, there were spirits of Indian ponies, cavalry horses that were dead, the cavalry, the Indians, they were fighting. And so, yeah, you could have a combination of a whole lot of stuff going on there.
Let's see. So there was the question. Here we go. Matt says, hi, Maryann. My husband has been seriously anxious this week. We can't figure out what's bringing it on. Nothing out of the ordinary has been happening. Could this be because of Mercury in retrograde?
No, not unless he's anxious about work, something going on wrong with work. But again, with the supermoon tomorrow, the two eclipses that we just had, being in the Mercury retrograde, ghosts have been on steroids this week or this month, actually the last 6 weeks. So if you have an earthbound spirit in your house, that could be affecting him. Oh boy, what is that big good one?
I'm scrolling up trying to make sure we're not missing anything and putting certain people on timeouts because they're filling up chat feeds. But remember when we were talking about kids and you were like, if they were brats when they were alive, they're brats when we're dead. Our friend Lisa says, oh, great. Even the kid ghosts can be assholes.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And I look at some of these kids sometimes and go, oh my God, how did your mother ever put up with you? Or why did she put up with you? One or the other, right?
One of these days, like I'll have to figure out how to share over so everybody, well, if you guys have Instagram, you can go watch the Instagram live. I put it on our YouTube, or I'm sorry, on our Reels, Instagram TV. And at one point I scroll and you can just see, because I'm seeing everybody's comments from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Facebook locations and 2 YouTube channels. And I had Instagram on my phone. So things get muddled over here. So that's why I always say be patient. And when I get tongue tied, it's because it's jumping as I'm trying to read it. So
these people see the questions with each other on this or no?
It just kind of depends on the location. So, okay. Which is why I always try to highlight them on the screen. So that way everybody can see which ones, okay. And I read them out. So we can always throw it into the podcast later. Okay. I was already thinking on this when we started this, what, a year? Has it been a year? It's been a minute?
Ready. I think so. I don't know where it's gone, but I think so.
Very good question. I hadn't thought of this one. Christina says, what if there is a very emotional event, like the passing of a pet right after saging? Does this re-energize the ghost? And should I sage again sooner than usually recommended?
No, that really isn't necessary. I think if it's something like that, something emotional, I would probably smudge maybe 3 or 4 days. Don't wait the 2 weeks. Do it maybe a week after, but just the one extra time. That would be it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're starting to get some requests and we're already, it's 11 on the dot. So if we didn't get to your questions, just bring them over with us next week. Let's see. So questions about joining on the Zooms. I see my banners are all joined in. Here we go.
You have to understand that I never, ever, ever see anything written to me on Facebook or anything. I don't I don't touch a computer. So if the only way that I'm going to call you back is either if you write to me, put a stamp on it and send it, or if you call and leave a message, and hopefully if you've got a ghost in the house, your ghost isn't blocking it, so I get it. But that is the only way. And I will go back through the phone and see if I can find the gal that her mother is being, or grandmother or whatever, this weekend. But this Friday, like I said, I definitely am busy.
So here is where you can get to the Zoom sessions with Maryann. So we have about 5 spaces available for July 9th. And we just opened up this morning, July 19th. So July 9th is a Friday. The 19th is a Monday. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And there was a question about joining us from Maui. Yes, please join us. We love everybody joining us. We're trying to rope Lewis even joining us. Just be mindful of the time change. It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we do limit the amount of people that are on there. It's myself, Maryann, and whoever pays to be there. It has not been put up for everybody else to see. But please don't feel worried about joining, because everybody is there with the same questions or concerns. They're not going to care about what you might have going on in your house, because they probably have the same thing. We are going to be in Sandusky this Saturday on the 26th for a ghost walk and lecture of the Merry-Go-Round Museum. And this is where the haunted carousel horse from Cedar Point is maintained and stored in the off season. So it's pretty creepy. Not many places kind of hackle my raises when I walk in there. And it's not just the creepy dead horses on sticks. But I get that uncomfortable, like that roller coaster feeling when I'm in there, like, oh, there's so many.
So I take it you're not going to ride the carousel on Saturday.
Probably not. And it's cool. It's a round building, and they have a fully functioning carousel in the center of the building, and they do let people ride it. But feel free to join us. It's going to be a fun time. We get to pretty much walk through the whole building. And you get to see
wear comfortable shoes, though, especially if you want to go downstairs in the basement, because that's where they do the restoring down there, and apparently we're allowed to go down there. So make sure you wear comfortable shoes. Mm-hmm. Don't trip going down the steps with your flip-flops. Think about that. And just to remind everybody, and I know you want to bring kids to this, but nobody under 18.
Right. And maybe because I just was playing and upping my retirement, here is a good question for all of us who invest. Can spirits and the fae affect the stock market and the different investments?
I have been on the floor of the exchange in New York. I did work for somebody that worked there, and he took me there. I don't know how any of those people can work there. The place was full of earthbound spirits. And I'm sure a lot of them were attached to the people that work there. It was a huge building, so there were probably a lot of building ghosts, but I'm sure it can affect all of that, yes. And just with the Mercury retrograde, all the phones and the computers and everything, they probably have all kinds of problems during a Mercury retrograde with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. We even have more people joining in, and like we have a new person from Sri Lanka. So thank you for joining us. You too can join us on Zoom if you like, just be mindful of the time change, but this is the link that you can join us. But we are here Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to join us live, get your questions answered, and you can always go back on YouTube and watch the previous episodes. So it's a lot of information is packed in there. But we welcome questions, especially good, unique, interesting questions that make Maryann's little hamster wheels have to think about it, because it's a different.
It's like, oh my God, where's this one coming from?
Right. But that's why I've
never thought of that. Somebody comes up with it. Right. It's like, yeah, really?
But come join us next Wednesday and join us on Zoom.
Try to come out on Saturday. It'll be fun. I think it'll be, and I think it's going to be a good day. So you never know what's hanging out in these museums. Never.
Right. Well, and especially in, Sandusky being so close to Lake Erie, Cedar Point. I'm sure there's all sorts of things walking around in that whole city this time of year.
Right.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us. And we're going to be back next Wednesday at 10 a.m.
You got it. Have a good week.